The new executive director of the Evansville Water and Sewer Utility joins us to talk about recent improvements to the system, how to use online tools, and understanding your bill. That's next on WNIN Newsmakers. Welcome to WNIN Newsmakers. I'm Jessica Costello, evening news anchor for Eyewitness News. With us now is the new executive director of the Evansville Water and Sewer Utility, Vic Kelson. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. So before we get into the details of utility, I do want to talk about your background because I hear that you have an interesting background.
Yeah, I suppose I do. I started out as a chemical engineer when I was young, and then after several years of working, I went to Indiana University to study environmental science. And graduated from there. Worked in a couple of places, but mostly in consulting for about 15 years. And then from 2016 until 2023, I served as the Director of Utilities for the City of Bloomington.
So from Bloomington to Evansville, what made you want to come to Evansville?
I've always liked it when I came down here,
Awesome.
and it's a big system, and it's a big challenge. There's a lot going on, and I was excited to have the opportunity to live down here and take it on.
Perfect. So how long have you been in this position as of right now?
Almost 2 months.
Okay, so we're new, but you're getting rolling and you look excited to be here. Now, before we start talking about bills, I do want to talk about the coverage area because some people might not know what the area is that EWSU covers. So let's talk about the service area.
So the Evansville Water and Sewer Utility serves all of the city of Evansville and all of Vanderburgh County. Plus, we have wholesale customers and that serve parts of Gibson and Posey and Warwick counties as well.
And some of these customers, if not all, may start seeing a slight increase in their bill coming next month. Let's talk about that increase and what it's for.
Well, that increase has already been baked into our rates, as it were, because of the most recent water rate case, which called for increases for 5 consecutive years. This will be the third one. That rate case primarily is providing the funding for us to build the new water treatment plant. The customers that will be affected by that are the customers of Evansville Water and Sewer Utility. So our wholesale customers may not see it at the same time, but they'll probably see it later on as their local utilities take it on.
Okay. And when people are looking at their bill, what are some of the line items that maybe might need an explanation or people might need help understanding?
There's several things that, for example, there will be, on the water portion of your bill, there will be a fee for the meter that actually provides the service to your home. Okay. There will be a charge also for fire protection. That pays for the fire hydrants and the maintenance of all that kind of equipment. And you'll have meter charges that are based on the amount of water that you consume. In addition, there will be a sewer charge that's based on the amount of water that you purchased. So, and the sewer bill is actually larger than the water bill typically. There'll also be a charge for the sanitation pickup, and I'm not sure if there are other charges as well, but those are the primary things: the water, the sewer, and sanitation.
You know, when we talk about bills, I feel like everyone talks about the fees that they see and they're like, why am I paying these fees? Well, let's go over why they are so important, because you talk about fire protection and those fire hydrants and maybe maintaining them. That is very important. So can you talk about some of the fees, whether that's the meter fee or the fire protection that you spoke about, and why those are so important to have those fees and then be able to maintain those things?
Sure. The reason for the fire protection fee, for an example, is that our charges have to cover the cost of whatever service we're providing. So the fire protection fee is broken out as its own fee that everybody pays essentially the same, except for if you have a large meter for a factory or for a commercial property or whatnot. So it'll be, that fee makes sure that all the fire protection equipment that we provide is maintained and is in good shape. but it's not attached to the amount of water that you use.
Right.
Because that really wouldn't be fair. The idea is that you're paying for your part of fire protection. Similarly, the meter fee is not related to the volume of water that you use. It's a fixed charge based on the size of your meter. And that pays for the maintenance of the meter and any services that we provide related to the meter. So the only thing you pay by the gallon is for the water that you actually use.
Right. And then when people they get their bills and they're looking to pay it, maybe their situation is changing. What are some ways that they can either go in person to pay their bill, or whether it's the website or even the app? Is it a possibility to pay on the app? What do all those scenarios look like?
Well, you can pay on the website. You can mail in a check. You can also sign up for an automatic withdrawal for automatic pay. You can also go to our customer service desk, which is inside the Civic Center Plaza, at the Plaza. We also have an outdoor kiosk at the Plaza and one at the Potter's Wheel downtown and at Mike's Food Mart.
Okay.
So all of those locations are available.
Yeah.
And you can also call customer service for assistance if you need it.
And plenty of options, it sounds like.
Yes.
So the EWSU also has a bill relief program in case, people are falling on hard times, or, there's just, it's a struggling month. So how can people learn more about it, get involved in it, and what is it?
Well, our bill relief program, right now it's a $10 write-off on your bill that you can apply for if your household income is $50,000 or less. You would sign up for that through our customer service office. Presently we have a team that's working on developing enhancements to that program that we expect to take to our board in a couple of weeks for approval. So I don't know the details yet, but we do have some ideas that we're looking into.
And another thing people may see on their bills in terms of a charge is something called sewer mandate. Can you explain that?
Yes, the sewer mandate is a payment that's made to help pay for the integrated overflow control plan, which is a large plan, was originally intended to be $728 million over 24 years, starting in 2016. That all arose from a consent agreement with the US EPA and the Department of Justice related to the combined sewer overflows in Evansville. When we have a large portion of our city's system has the sanitary sewers combined with the storm sewers. And in certain locations, we can get, after large rain events, we can get sanitary sewer effluent just flowing right into the river. So in order to protect that under the Clean Water Act, EPA requires us to work to get rid of those, and it's an expensive proposition.
Absolutely.
So that's what that monthly fee is.
Okay, so everything is digital these days. Let's talk about the website. How is EWSU's website beneficial in terms of customer access and what they can get from the website?
Well, you can request service and interact with our customer service team through there. We also have maps of our system and service areas, including places where we have a boil water advisory. So if we had to do some kind of a repair that led to a pressure drop in the distribution system, we have to do precautionary boil water advisories in those areas. They'll show up on that map as well. You can also get the My Water app for your phone. With the My Water app, you can look at your most recent bill statement, even if you're doing electronic billing, but you can still look at your bill had you gotten the bill.
Okay.
And you can look at your own water consumption all the way down to the hour. So, for example, if you have a leak in your house, that would show up as water flowing through the meter all the time. Normally in a residence, that's not what we expect. So
Right.
if you have a toilet that's leaking or a faucet that's left on, you'll be able to see that information on there.
So if you're staying on top of that on the app, that could be a lot of money saved if you know you have a problem. So that could be a really good thing.
Exactly. The easiest way to reduce your water bill is to use less water. So getting rid of leaks and dealing with those as they come along is a great thing to do.
I agree. And, we're talking about boil advisories. What about road closures as well? Is that something people can find out about on the app or the website before they actually drive up on one?
Road closures that are associated with our projects will show up on the EWSU map. I understand that the city has another map that has other information as well.
Well, let's move on to some of the big projects because there's some exciting stuff happening at EWSU. So let's first talk about the new water treatment plant. How's that coming and is it complete?
The water plant is not complete. In fact, we haven't started construction yet. The entire industry, the utilities industry, saw a huge increase in the cost of doing capital projects that happened during the pandemic, probably a year or so into the pandemic, and everyone had the same experience. Projects that we had engineers' estimates for projects that would very suddenly become maybe twice as expensive or even more. I know that happened to us in Bloomington, and it also happened here with the water treatment plant. So the original plan for the water treatment plant, when they started to actually go get pricing for it, it was far more expensive than they'd anticipated, plus interest rates have gone up. So the utility is regrouped, and we're working on what's called sort of a hybrid plan, where we're going to reuse portions of the original plant,
Okay.
And then build a new filter building and other facilities to construct the new plant. So the new plant will use a little bit of the old plant, but not all of it. Right now, we're at the so-called 30% design stage, and simultaneously, we are working through the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission to increase our bonding capacity. So the amount of money that we can borrow to build the plant, we need to increase it slightly. And then hopefully, we will be under construction by the end of the year.
Perfect. And do those, I'm sorry to cut off.
It'll take about 3 years to build it.
Okay. Well, then, do those revised plans also cut costs then, I assume? That was the goal, it sounded like?
That's right.
Okay.
It'll reduce the cost of the project.
Perfect. Well, let's move on to the Trinity project. Let's get any updates there you can help provide us.
Well, we're nearly done. That project turned out to have a lot of complexity, partly because when they were digging, they found a cemetery that was not known about. That cemetery also included some Native American remains as well. So it's been a complicated project to get all of that sorted out, but we're nearing completion now, and hopefully we'll be done in the near future with that project.
That is interesting. When you stumble upon something like finding a cemetery and remains and whatnot, I'm sure you all have to handle that project a little bit differently. So what happened to the cemetery?
Well, with the cemetery, there's an archaeologist who has possession of the remains at this time. They have been working with the African American community and the Native American tribes to see if there's anything special that should be done when their remains are to be reinterred. It is my understanding at this time that eventually they will be reinterred at Oak Hill, and the remains will be laid out in an arrangement that's similar to the arrangement that they were originally found. So any relationships between the individuals that may have existed that we don't know about will be respected when they're reinterred.
And that sounds like a unique situation. Have you ever run into something like this in your time?
No, I have not. This is the
Yeah.
first time I've
Very
heard
unique.
about it. Yeah, it's a very strange and challenging problem.
Yeah,
But whenever you
absolutely.
dig inside a city, you never know what you're going to find.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, with the Lloyd for You project, that is coming up, and we are seeing signs getting people prepared. People driving, maybe they need to find detours now. But the Lloyd for You project, is that going to have any impact on water and sewer utility, or maybe that's road closures or possible boil advisories? What is that going to look like?
Well, it's our job to make sure that there aren't disruptions in our service. We don't have the ability to reduce the level of our service. So during that project, we have to do everything we can to make sure that any changes that need to be made to our infrastructure, relocating pipes, sometimes we take advantage of the fact that pipes have to be relocated to make them larger for future expansion. Those projects are underway in various forms or in design at this point. They will be coordinated with the work that the Department of Transportation is doing. But we will do our projects in conjunction with that, with the Lloyd for You project. And our job fundamentally is to make sure that there aren't disruptions resulting from, to our service anyway,
Absolutely.
resulting from that project.
Okay. And I'm sure people can stay up to date in terms of anything that does happen on the app, on the website,
That's
all
right.
the things that you've talked about.
That's right. Or call customer service.
Absolutely, that as well. Well, another thing that is coming up, a big thing, a big event, is the total solar eclipse that's expected in Evansville. And I know that there are going to be some changes in terms of closures maybe for the Sunrise Pump Station. So talk about that. What can people expect when April 8th comes, and maybe a little bit before that as well?
Well, we anticipate there'll be a lot of people along the riverfront during the eclipse. We decided to close the Sunrise Pump Station building. The washrooms will still be open. And the reason that we decided to close it is that people might want to go up on the roof or might want to be right around the facility. Something you may not know is that when it gets dark, the security lights will turn on. And we were concerned about the safety of people who might be up on the roof suddenly having to get down off the roof in order to get away from the lights. So we decided the safest thing would be to just have the restrooms open. Also, with a lot more people down there, we really don't have the staff on hand to really maintain and oversee what's going on at the facility. So the safest thing was for us to just close the building.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a safe idea, considering the amount of people that we are expecting in the Evansville area especially. So, well, before we wrap up, I do want to ask, is there anything else that you want EWSU customers to know?
Well, I think it's important for everyone to remember that our fees and rates are all based on covering the cost of the service we provide. On the water utility side, our charges are all regulated by the Indiana Utilities Regulatory Commission. IURC won't let us charge more than it costs to provide the service over time. So it's a break-even operation. The commission's job is to make sure that what we're paying is the cost of the service and that we're not paying for things that aren't essential for providing the service. That's their job. On the sewer utility side, we're regulated by the city council. So it's the council's job to review our expenditures and our costs. When we do a rate case for sewer, we do all the same analysis to show exactly what it costs to provide the service, and we don't have flexibility on spending money on things that we don't need
Right.
to provide sewer service. So it's really important to understand we're not socking money away, we're not making a profit, we have no investors other than the public, and
Yeah.
that's really important to remember.
And there's a lot of people behind the scenes, it sounds like, making sure that there's checks and balances and all the things that maybe people don't see because it is behind the scenes.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vic. It was nice to get to know you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Welcome to a special WNIN Newsmakers segment highlighting local businesses. Joining us today is Mary Allen, owner of 6th and 0. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, tell me about what kind of products and services you have at your business.
Yeah, so we focus on sustainability. We have a refillery there, so that's a really popular aspect of our business. We started out as a simple soap making company, natural body products, thinking about how can we be less toxic in our life, and have ventured into this low waste lifestyle, clean living shop. And so a lot of folks come, like I said, for the refillery that's in the back of our store. You can bring your own containers. We want to try to rid people's lives of plastic, knowing the impact on our health and the environment. And so people can bring in their own containers or reuse the ones they already have and fill up anything by the ounce, from organic spices and beans and rice to hairspray, conditioners, cleaners, that kind of thing.
And where do those things come from?
Yeah, we source things from a variety of places, and we do our homework, and that's the thing I really want people to know, that when they walk in the door, they can feel good about whatever they're getting because we've done the work for them. I mean, by all means, double check me and we could miss something. And we still do. We make our own bar soaps, body moisturizers, face care line that are super clean. We make in-house, but the things that we curate, We're very intentional. We try to focus on women-owned businesses. Are they B corporations? Are they doing good things themselves as companies that we can bring in? And ultimately, are the ingredients clean and safe for the people purchasing them and for the environment?
So when you talk about the soap making, are you doing that in the back of the store? Do you have a, where are you set up for that?
Yeah, we have done that. We started on 6th Street, so that's our name. 6th Street Soapery is how we started out in 6th and Washington and Haney's Corner. And we moved to Main Street now and kept the 6th as a homage to our roots, but added the 0 as we've moved into more of a zero waste lifestyle shop. We know there's no such thing as zero waste, but it's just, you know, a thing.
It's an intention.
It's an intention, yes, yeah, to set what's one next thing toward that, on that journey, right? So we've grown, and actually we've grown quite a bit to where we no longer make it out of the back of our shop. I work with a friend of mine who manufactures on Oak Hill Road, and so that's where our recipes, we still make our body products, face line products in the back. It doesn't take up as much room and space, but our soap making is now over on Oak Hill Road, and because we have grown in a sense to where now we have drums of product for refill versus 5-gallon buckets and things like that.
Wow.
It takes up more room.
Was this something you always wanted to do? Like, I mean, have you always experimented with making soaps and things, or how did that come about?
It came about from a homeschool project with my daughter back way long ago. She's a teacher herself now, but it's all chemistry, and that we needed a chemistry project, and then it starts you on that journey of being intentional and realizing what ingredients are in the things we're using. And we're intentional about what we eat, but I wasn't intentional about what we put on our body and knowing that impact. And so it just started us on this great journey. And so I've been making soap for 16, 18 years now, but just started as a business in 2016.
So how do you see your business growing and expanding in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. We just want to be a resource for the community, and we've already grown. The community's been good to us, and we always want to give back, and we've grown in such a way, in little increment, organic ways, from our in-home shop to now being on Main Street and beginning to sort of outgrow that a bit. But we want to be a resource. We want to be a place that people come and not just buy something, but we can be educators as well and help people along their journey. They don't have to buy anything when they come in. They can just come and we'll share and we'll learn and journey this sustainable lifestyle together, just making one small step at a time. That's what I encourage folks, and it ultimately for our health and benefit, but the health and for our environment and for the next generations coming up.
I've seen, I think on Instagram, where you even help tell people about glass recycling.
Yes.
And I mean, because it seems like glass should be included in the recycling program, and it's not. So how'd that come about that you started working on that?
Well, as a frustration, because you're right, exactly what you said, and it used to be years ago, and so there's a big misunderstanding that it still is, and so a lot of that is that education piece and helping being citizen activists sort of as well to help push along and encourage the city maybe to even try to bring back a municipal program for glass or some sort of option, because glass it's not a finite resource, but glass is infinitely recyclable, and we save so much energy when we do recycle glass. So you're right, it just makes sense. And there's a market for it. Sometimes markets change, but there's been a consistent market for glass, and there's no reason why we can't come up with a solution.
I agree with that. So tell us about, just quickly, what your hours are.
Yeah, we're open Mondays 10 to 2, that's our short day, Tuesday through Saturday 10 to 6.
Okay, well, thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll have to bring my glass next time.
Yeah, yes, please.
Thanks.
Thanks to our guests for joining us today. Next week, we'll get an update on the Lloyd For You project. I'm Jessica Costello, evening news anchor for Eyewitness News. Thanks for watching WNIN Newsmakers.